Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. This is our Brotherhood class, of course, and this is the first one after our wonderful Eid and a wonderful Ramadan. And so I wanted to cover a few points, if we could, and the main point of discussion tonight is evolving to the level necessary to take care of the needs that need to be taken care of, in the society. And I would like for us just to imagine the world. I'm not saying it's like that. Just imagine we're in a world today, and we got total crackpots running the world. Insane people, buffoons, clowns, just unrelentless, non-repentant buttholes running the world. It's not only your life, it's the life of our children, it's the life of the earth. The life of the earth, and these jackbutts will say, see, the people in the islands get the news first. People in the islands, some of the islands have already disappeared. Some of the islands where they used to have a road and a beach, well, the water, even in Hawaii, some of the roads that was along the beach, when it's high tide, it come up and wash the roads out, Okay, that means global warming is real. And I hate to watch the icebergs melting. You know what I mean? They melting so fast. But just imagine that madmen, idiots, and buffoons are running the world, right? And that they have no concept of global, regional, or national responsibility. They don't have no responsibility for nothing. And if that's real, then that means our lives, the lives of our children, the life of society, the life of the earth is in the hands of lunatics. Proven card-carrying lunatics. Okay, then if that's true, then what about us? What are we going to do? That's what it boils down. And I'll go straight to the point. Because most of us remember the scene from the last beginning programs, Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui, and what he was saying. Well, he had left kind of basic instructions. And he left them with me. He didn't leave with Muhammad Al-Assi, he didn't leave with Zafar, he didn't leave with none of them. And everybody knew that. That's why they started cutting my throat and trying to isolate me and acting funny as soon as Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui died. Because as long as he was around, you know what I mean, everything is fine. And you can imagine these guys, they're who they are, and the teacher's pet is me. A nigga is the teacher's pet. And see, because they think they had gotten pretty smart. And they didn't look up to Dr. Kaleem Siddiqui like I did. I looked up to him, but I harassed him, I had fun with him, and I walked with him. Every time we had a program, I'd sit with him. I got pictures. We would walk together because he had to take walks for his heart. All of that. Okay, they didn't do that. You know why? They thought they got all the information and they was brainiacs. You know what I mean? I watched them. They didn't respect his level that he had acquired. And to prove it, that non-territorial government that was inaugurated in 1992. And when you see the pictures about Bosnia, that's not in Bosnia, that's in London, dealing with the situation in Bosnia. Imagine he done created a whole system, non-territorial government, where he has the ability to collect zakat and distribute it in huge amounts of money to Bosnia and other needy places, Palestine. Now remember, Dr. Khalil Siddiqui was on welfare. He was on welfare. They call it the dole over there. But he administered millions of pounds. You see, that was his lifestyle. If you've seen him with that, or you know where the professors had them old tweed coats with a patch on it. I used to talk, and his shoes was resoled. You know where he used to resole shoes. I said, Doc, I'm gonna get you a coat, man. That's a nice boy. But I've never seen you without it, that boy. You be with that boy. You in that coat. You know, but that was our relationship. Now, that don't mean that crew was never past us on anything. You could tell by the lectures in those days. That includes Muhammad al-Asi, Zafar Bangash, because they didn't have experience. The difference between us, like Dr. Khalil Siddiqui said, this man has had the whole experience. And he's telling us things we've been looking at all our life. And we didn't see it. And I'm in South Africa, the cornerstone of racism, and explaining to them about racism. Can you imagine? And everybody said, man, this is deep, right? So, this creating a new global civilization of Islam was based on non-territorial government. That means the government of the Muslims in a Western society that rule their own affairs, but you don't control the territory. That's a landmark thing. As soon as Dr. Khalil Siddiqui died, they had unraveled it within a month or two. They had unraveled it within a month or two. Okay, there wasn't nothing I could do about it. It was beyond my ability at that time. You got to remember, all of them are on the same team. All of them always have been on the same team. Many of the diplomats, even the diplomats from Iran, and not the good ones. We got a good crew, and then we got the handkerchief-headed ones. So there's an international crew that has infiltrated the Islamic movement worldwide. And if you have Muhammad al-Asi going to Iran, to London, and he's representing, he's a part of Masjid al-Taglib. Technically, I'm a part of it too, but they eased me out of it several years ago. And he's supposedly coordinating all of the issues in America. And I bet you haven't seen no program he's ever done. He might speak somewhere. He's like Siraj. They'll speak somewhere, but they don't never do programs. Where they do the paperwork, they do the footwork. I'm gonna try to speed up. So in creating a new global civilization of Islam, that was 21 years ago. Now here we are. And what's needed in America is that model. And I believe that it's our mission to organize that model here in the West, here in America, and spread it back all around to all the Western societies, including Australia, New Zealand, and we have huge amounts of Muslims now all over the West. But they have cliques and what have you. Here we got Islam and all of them. Each one of them cooperate with each other, but they do policies that relate to their own organization. Now, in movement days, that was always deadly, because after a rebellion, after a revolution, whoever took over didn't trust nobody that was not a part of their crew. Like the ANC, they didn't let nobody else in. ZANU, ZAPU, and all them African groups, if you wasn't a part of their group, they didn't let you in. In Iran, they didn't let nobody else 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 in. In Iran, they one of the biggest problems that the hard-working brothers had here is that they had went to school here, and when they got back to Iran, they wasn't a part. The question they would ask me is, what do we do if they put a guy in a position that they trust, but he doesn't know how to do anything? And here we are within, no, I told him you have to bear with it. This is all post-revolutionary stuff. But this go round, we have to evolve evolve ahead of all of that. Now remember when we talked about Ikhwan, it won't be no Arab Spring. That's right in the middle of all of that. This wasn't years later. This is a week after, 2 weeks after the jump off, we give our first lecture. Ain't gonna be no Arab Spring. Everybody said it is an Arab Spring. Muhammad Al-Asi and Masoud Shadri, head of the Islamic Human Rights Commission in London, you see them on TV all the time. Press TV and all of that is controlled by their media. Everybody on it, all the sisters you see on there, all of them, they control that medium. The last time I was on there, I went straight to the points I wanted to make, and they ain't let me on no more, because they know I'm at the stage of blowing everybody's cover. So they have white people on, like they have these idiots. Brian Becker and all these bums. Okay, we don't have time to go into history. But those are the spokesmen. They don't have none of the brothers that understand Shiism, that understand the Islamic movement, and then tell them what their mission is and what level they are on. They don't know. And if they know, they don't want to tell them. So that's why they put this last year, they put this front page stuff. Walayat al-Faqih is a guardian for global fitna. You can see that word fitna. They say fitna, that's Farsi. That's what it means. The system that they have is in place. The Rahbar is in place. The Rahbar has evolved. But all those politicians around the Rahbar, not all of them. You remember the last election, Raisi? Mm-hmm. He's part of the al-Imam, the line of Imam. Okay. Now, the white folks here were saying, oh, he didn't do good. He only got 38%. Well, for a guy that run first time ever for an elected office, running against an incumbent in Iran that always wins. It's his second term, right? Okay, and he gets 38%. That's huge. With four other, actually, it was five. There's four others in there. It was six running, but one of them dropped out. So here's the point. Technically, we're part of the principalists, as they call them. That's what they call them. So therefore, the politicians, Zarif, Dr. Karazi, and all those bums. Now remember, we started talking about that here over 10 years ago. Okay. So here we are. I'll try to go right to the point. Here we are in the world today. And America is our responsibility. America is our responsibility. Okay. At the end of an empire, at the end of the Roman Empire, Christianity that used to be oppressed took over Rome, the Roman Catholic Church. Okay. We believe that that's exactly the same thing that is happening and will happen here. But the Muslims have weakened so much they've lost their spirit of dawah. Okay. you know the ayats that we went to. I'm going to speed up if I can. Creating a new global civilization in Islam means that in America, our second stage is a total non-territorial government in the United States that we have heavy influence over. So, but on the first stage, we have to prepare. You know, goals tell you where you want to go. Goals will also give you a measuring stick. How far are we away from where we want to go? You know what I mean? It's a window to the future. It gives you the opportunity to look at what goals that you make. Okay, how many challenges, how many opportunities, what are we going to have to deal with along the way? That's what goals are. It also means that the goals should be very clear. Should be very clear and detailed, you know. But also a part of goal setting is goal difficulty. Goal difficulty means how much we're going to have to work to get this job done. How are we going to pull this off? You know, what do we have to, what's the cost? Basically, how much does it cost? And to do big things, goal cooperation. During this stage, or during the last stage, say from last week on back, we've been doing a lot of stuff ourselves and everything because it's necessary. But that's not global. You don't do, movements don't go anywhere. You'd be a Sabiqun, a one-man show. That has never been our goal. And you got to remember, all the time we had meetings over on 8th Street and over here. We accomplished every goal that we laid out. We accomplished every goal that we laid out. That's the beauty of everything, that we reached our goals. That the sisters pray back there. You can pray up here or over there. Yeah. So we reached all our goals. If everybody can agree, we reached all the goals. That is with maximum opposition. I'm not going to spend much time on the opposition, but we have dealt with 10 and 20 times, 30, technically 40 times any other group in America has had to deal with. And I can give you a simple example of someone we all know, Imam al-Alim, right? Okay. I first met him in '82. They came out and did a program, but I studied him very closely. And of course, if you're thinking about, you know, in our old days, remember we traveled all over looking for the great leader. We probably went down to Atlanta too. All of us did. Nobody was arrogant enough to say, well, I'll be the big chief. And da, 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 da. So let's go and look all over the country, the different communities. So when I went to Atlanta and after having our programs, I talked and conversed a lot with the last poets and all of them. Suleiman al-Hadi, and I studied the Dar al-Islam movement. At that time, this was the time when they was cutting the Dar's throat. And it had already broken up, and Imam Jamil had inherited his piece. But I studied Imam Jamil. And after a while, I said, I'll help you as much as I can. I said, but I ain't giving no bail. Because I wouldn't put my life in the hands of somebody that wasn't prepared. He had too many, you know, when generals fight the old battles, the last war all the time. They always fight the last war. So I studied certain things. The first thing I realized was Imam Jamil is a nice guy. He's my friend. But he's a newspaper leader. He got his reputation from the newspaper and stuff like that. You know, the Black Days, Stokely and all of them. I studied all of them in detail. They were newspaper niggas. Not that's bad, but they had crowd appeal, and the people, the name showed up in the newspaper. People gave credibility for that. But if they ever came through the game that we was in, they wouldn't last 2 weeks. None of them. None of the people that I know, Siraj and all them niggas, they wouldn't have lasted. Definitely not a week. That was a long time. They've been gray-headed this last week. So, I didn't give Imam Jamil bail, but I stuck by him. Because I knew, he told me what was happening. I said, man, it's a beautiful community, all the people. I said, he said, they not with me. So he told me the rule that I already know. All leaders, I know I was surrounded in Oakland, he was surrounded, and all the other good people were surrounded. But he had a few things that was detrimental to movement. One, he wanted to be the big chief only. And I was telling him, we don't need no one big nigga no more. We need hundreds of big niggas. We got to develop a whole crew of people y'all should have learned. The other thing was pre-planning. He technically hated black people because when he had to run away and go overseas, and I went right behind him within a short period of time. He was mad because black people didn't send him no money, didn't help him and everything. But black people didn't send me no money either. Not one of my friends. They was over there driving limousines and everything. They never, when I talked to them, they never said you need $4, $5 grand, 20 grand, you know something. They never said. They wait till I organize everything in Colombia or Mexico. And then I had to call the whole crew. And then when they got rich, then my whole crew said, hey man, we in. I said, sure, you know, everybody's in when everybody get rich. You know what I mean? Everybody get rich and they see how it worked. They thought I was gone forever. That everybody else had left the country, the white man had beaten them, whipped them into defeat, and they ain't gone, that's it for them. That's the way they thought about me. No sister, he ain't gonna make it back. When they looked up and see me coming, we already hooked up something. But I knew the Negro and I knew the human being. You always gotta take care of yourself. In a movement, you love everybody, like we feed, you love everybody. But I don't trust no niggas to take care of anything that's important, like your life or you know, stuff like that. Because the numbers are bad. The Negro's nafs and lust is kind of weak, and he'll get chopped off every time. That's what happened to Imam Jamil. His arrogance, not arrogance, just his self-respect, self-esteem, wouldn't allow, the brothers told me, he said, if the police come and do such and such again, well, I'm going to do such and such. Now, I know he didn't say that. But if you're a leader and they get ready to move on the people, which I told them they're going to have to get rid of, there ain't but 1 or 2 people with national renown than you. So you have to watch yourself. Not really at 96. People come down, they're acting a fool, and they say he shot me. I know he wouldn't shoot nobody. I know people in the community wouldn't shoot nobody, although they're all gun-toting. You know, first of all, that's not no solution, no problem in America right now. Stop it with your hand, speak out about it, and feel bad about it. Who says speak out about it? Because they got SWAT teams, they got everything that came out in the 60s and 70s for that. So then they could come to me, like the Iranians was working with that Negro that came here from Supermax, talking about, I want to gun. And I said, nigga, you gotta have to get away from here. Well, I'm tough. And I said, tough for everybody else, and it's tough too. Well, I just got out of the supermax. I don't care what you got out of it. I said, look, man, I don't know nothing about no weapons. I ain't gonna get you no weapons. I don't know what no weapons are. I don't believe in weapons in the stage of the game. I believe in the mind and the spirit and tactics and strategy. I don't believe in that. Now the Iranians is working with that thing. It's like they're working with the groceries that was by here when he got a penitentiary, they go by. I said, good for them. And they come by with food that came from Iranians to let me know this came from Iranians. And you gave all your life to, I didn't give my whole life, I gave my life to the movement. And it's still a part of the same movement, but not to them clowns. So I'll get to the point. In order to develop the proper system, you can't go all the way in the first day. So I was thinking how we could break down what we're doing right now to something simple for the first stage. And the goal that I had in mind was that next Eid, as well as we did this Eid, just playing around, if we have 10 teams to go out to all the big shows. Now, we won't just be going out with no boxes. Between then and now, we'll have a program every 8 to 10 weeks. And each time, whatever teams we'll have, we'll go out every week, every time they have a program with flyers, right? And within a year's time, they'll all know us, they'll know the letterhead, they'll know everything. Right? Even some of the flyers will have a picture on them, not for arrogance, but just so they'll know where we're coming from. Okay? So, that means that our goal right now is that by next Eid al-Fitr, we will have developed 10 teams. That's why I said to call the brothers and see if they come. So we already have some senior citizens who've been here, and if they want to cooperate, if they want to participate, that's all. Not to come to no Brotherhood class every, it's like an auxiliary team. Like, what's the part of the Army is the reserves. You didn't walk around in uniform all day. You go a couple of weeks during the summer and run around in the woods and shoot up in the air. You know what I mean, right? But you do what you got to do. And I think that our brothers that have been here have had enough time to enjoy sitting up with their wife and kids all these last 10 years and to see that if that's what you was planning to retire in happiness, that if you're happy, good, stay there. See, but a grown man, just like the Godfather said, women and children can be careless, but men can't. Remember that? That's true. Our women and children can do any damn thing they want. Can do any damn thing they want. But, hey man, if the white man turn everything red, they're gonna go right along with the program. And you could invent a new nigga mobile accelerator machine that changed the face of the globe. And your wife don't look at you like you're a fool because you're a nigga. That's the way it is. So everybody might as well get used to that and not waste any more time on girls. Think about girls as we used to have a saying, don't we? We pointed, that nigga will never be done because he's too kind to his dick. That's the way Abdul-Malik in Oakland was. Say, Abdul Malik ain't gonna never be nothing. He can't, he ain't nothing. Because he's too kind to his dick, he's spending too much time. A nigga with the world blowing up and going around, somebody want an extra wife or 3 wives. You talking about a damn fool. And 50 years old, 60 years old. Those Negroes, Siraj, the Alameen, them that had 4 wives, those are people that had psychological problems in the dunya. They want to control it good. I want to be a Mac. Hey man, only an idiot. With the world on the verge of exploding can even think about a girl. Unless, excuse the expression, unless she a boss bitch, somebody that take care of big business. That she on the road, you know what I mean? That she, you know what I mean? They used to have in the dunya, they still probably do. But she was big, she was taking care of business. Any nigga can sit up and roll his eyes with somebody holding hands. Now, with the world like it is, hey man, when we take power, we ain't gonna punish him. We're gonna send him to the training camp for lunatics. No, we ain't gonna treat nobody bad.
Purification camp.
Psychological, just like same thing Abu Bakr said to Khalid ibn Walid. What's wrong, boy? What's wrong? In every town, he's a great fighter. Boy, look at here. But, oh, good God Almighty, a tender.
Right.
And he, Abu Bakr, boy, what's wrong? Now, Umar couldn't put up. He said, man, you gotta straighten your robe. This is not a vagina war. It's an Islam. You know what I mean? Right? What is wrong with you, you know? So, kiss, keep it simple, stupid. That means keep everything simple. This is a big step, but it's simple. And if we do this, we cover so many other things. A simple, we want to have 10, our goal is to raise $50,000 at the next Eid. Not Eid al-Adha, but the next Eid al-Fitr. Okay. By the way, of course we were just coasting, but I think y'all raised about the same thing as I did, about 2,700 or something like that.
Okay.
Y'all's over there, and remember y'all was just a short period, right?
Yeah.
Okay, that was 1,700. Last year was about 1,200, something like that.
Right.
So, and believe it or not, you know, when we used to go to the Islamic